All right, guys, it's that time of week again. NHL Power Rankings week 14. Jaden, what's your number 32?
Oh, and start with me. All right, I'm not changing
Mm-hmm.
Winnipeg.
Nah, me either, mate. Me either.
And yeah, I don't know what you would want to change for them in regards to it. Like it's just been poor for quite a while now. And I'll just go over their week in regards to it. They play 3 games. The one win, OT loss against Vegas, Edmonton 3-4 loss, and then they get the win on the back-to-back 5-1 against LA. So all in all, going 500, like not too bad in regards to going 500, but 163 in the last 10, and they needed that win, but they need more. And it's crazy they've been poor for so long, but they're only -9 goal differential. So
Yeah, well, I mean, that's because they were so good early on. Like, they were one of the powerhouses within the first, I think it was like 15 games of the season. So, yeah, they sort of built a good goal differential
mm.
right at that point. And yeah,
Well, they're our
but it's
first
just gone
team
south since.
to go from 1 to 32 since doing this. I'm
Mm,
pretty sure it's our first
yeah.
team. So.
Yeah, yeah, so yeah, massive downfill. All right, at 31 for me, talking about a team that was on the way up and has come crashing right back down, Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, look, I know when the trade happened, there was some talks about, oh, this could be big for Vancouver, but I think, anyone with heads on them sort of knew that it would
Mm.
come and go pretty quickly. But they lose 5-3 to the Buffalo Sabres, even though they heavily outshot the Sabres 37 to 20. 5-1 loss to Detroit and a 5-0 loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs today. So, I mean, look, it's three teams who are in some red hot form at the moment, but yeah, like outside of the Buffalo game, they're not hugely competitive in the other two. And yeah, it's just not clicking at the moment. I don't see it getting any better.
Yeah. All right, on to 30. I have the St. Louis Blues.
Yep, same here. Look at that. 3 for 3. I think that's got to be the first time uh, this year, to be honest.
Yeah, it's something to say when you don't win a game for the week, 0-3, but you don't move in regards to my rankings. Um, but yeah, they lose 7-3 to Chicago, so a little bit of belting there. Then the next 2 games, they lose 4-2 to Utah, and then on the back-to-back to Vegas. And look, pretty much outshot in every game. Too many goals conceded. Like that's what 15, so they're averaging 5 a game. Um, yeah, they've been playing poor like recently. Like obviously losing the last three,
Mhm.
4-6-0 in the last 10. I'm pretty sure the worst goal differential in the league at -47. It's they've been poor for a long time now. Even though they'll
Yeah,
have little spikes of little brilliance, but then it just backs to back to normal.
yeah. They sort of give you a little bit of a glimpse of like, oh, we might do old school St. Louis when we won the Stanley Cup and come back. No, no, I I don't think that's on the cards this season, unfortunately. 29, team I did not expect to see this low this year, the Anaheim Ducks.
Oh well, we have the same bottom four.
Oh, look at that. Look, what do you say about the Ducks? I mean, we had this conversation about Chicago and their downfall after their good start, the Sharks and their little downfall after their good start, although it has turned back around. And we were wondering if the Ducks would be the same. Well, here they are. Their season, after looking so promising, has sort of absolutely capitulated. They lose all 4 games this week. They lose 7-4 to the Washington Capitals. They lose 5-2 on a back-to-back to the Philadelphia Flyers, 5-2 to the Carolina Hurricanes, and then 5-3 today against the Buffalo Sabres. I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't even remember the last time that this team won, to be honest with you. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
it's a fall from temporary grace, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I expected them to have a course correction. I did, definitely. But I didn't think it would be this bad.
Yeah.
I thought they'd go on like a 3-7, last 10, maybe do that over the course of like 15 games. but I didn't expect them to be, what are they, 1-8, 1-8-1 in their last 10. And I think even the last 10 before that wasn't great either. It's just,
Mm.
yeah, they're not playing good hockey at the moment, and it's worrying.
Yeah. All right, on to 28 for me. I have the New York Rangers.
They're my 26, but damn, you went hard.
I'm actually surprised you've been harder on them all season compared to me, in a sense.
Yeah.
So don't win a game this week. They play the three games. Starting off, Utah go to OT. Buffalo 5-2 loss there, and then obviously the 10-2 shellacking from Boston. Um, yeah, it just seems poor. I think there's a few Metro teams that have been quite poor as of recently, and they're one of them. 3-5-2 in the last 10, and I don't even know what to say more. Like they were subpar for a while, but they
Mhm.
get a little bit more subpar if that makes sense, and that's why I've got a little bit harder on them um, this week. And same thing with a couple other teams that we'll mention sooner than later.
Yeah, look, I probably could have dropped them. I see your reasoning around it. But I held off on them because they have shown a,
Mm,
like better play as of late, but like since they've sort of, I thought their season was going to come back. They were very close
yeah.
to top 16, and then it's just they've flicked back to what they were at the start of the season. So I don't quite know what to make of this team because I think when they click, they can get it together. They've obviously got Shesterkin in net. They just, yeah, there's something that's really not right with New
Yep.
York at the moment. All right, 28 for me. I have the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah. 27.
Yeah, look, I think we were talking about these guys like a week or two ago about them finally sort of turning it around a little bit, finding some form, and that form has just completely gone away again. So, not a great week. Again, I think they lost all four games. They lose 4-5 to Pittsburgh in OT. They lose 2-5 to the San Jose Sharks. They lose 3-5 to Vegas Golden Knights, and they lose blank to 4 against the Colorado Avalanche. Although it is the Colorado Avalanche, so I don't really hold that against them too much. But only getting 1 point on the week. They need to be better than that. I get it's a hardish week with all four teams they come up against. Like they're either in really good form or they're a pretty strong side. But, you know, I expected more from this team going into this season, and I just don't think they've delivered.
Yep. Alrighty. On to my 26, the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, they're my 27.
And look, a team that's on a little bounce back. I'm not sure if you want to do it, but OT win against Vegas, a very low shot game, only 15 shots for the entire 35 shots for the entire game, sorry. They beat St. Louis. They get 5-1 by Washington, and then on the back-to-back they blank the Nashville Predators. So a mixed bag of results in a sense. But honestly, all in all, a really good week in regards to results. They're on a 6-3-1. Uh, what do you call a heater? Maybe a little bit of a
Mhm,
warm up heater. They're
mhm.
getting a bit better. They're still only got the 19 wins, and they are just sitting at 500. But they're looking better, doing doing the right things. They're not. They're even in their losses or against Washington, they were still kind of competitive in it, like in regards to shot differential being even. But yeah, really good win against St. Louis as well, putting up 7, and I think that's helped them
Mm.
spark some more goals.
I
So
just wanna I just wanna point out there, I'm just gonna slap you around. 19 wins. Don't hate on 19 wins, mate, because that's only one less than Vegas, and they're 10th. All
yeah,
right?
I'm just
That's only
saying
one less.
when Vegas lose, they're in it. But yes, I understand. It's
Yeah,
not sometimes how you win or lose, like how much you win or lose, but how you win or lose. That's kind of
correct.
how it goes. Yeah.
It's just a crazy stat. 25th, one's 25th, one's 10th, and there's one win between them.
Yeah.
Wild. All right, 25th. Let's have a chat about the other team that got absolutely smacked this week, the New Jersey Devils.
Oh yeah, 25.
Yeah, look, I had to have the Devils and the Rangers right next to each other because I believe they are just sums them up. They're just as dog shit as each other, to be honest with you. Yeah, not a great week for the Devils as well after they won a couple of games. They looked in a bit better form. They had gained a couple of players back, but straight back to trash is where they went this week. 3-1 loss against Carolina Hurricanes, a 9-0 drubbing to the New York Islanders, where I just want to point out they had 44 shots to 24 and goals above expected, or goals expected, had the Devils winning that game 2.5 goals to 1.44 goals. So I don't know if getting
They can't
reverse goalie
score.
is
They
a
can't
thing.
score.
Reverse goalie is a thing, but I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen a team smacked by 9 goals and have a stat that tells you they should have won.
Yeah.
Um, and then they go and lose 4-1 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. So not a great week at all, especially when you play three division rivals and you get smacked in all three of them. So, not good for the Devils at the moment. News just came out about Dougie Hamilton clearly being on the move. He's been told he's going to be a healthy scratch unless they need him, which is wild for a $9 million defender. So, shit's just getting bad over at New Jersey.
Alrighty. Moving on to my 24. Moving on with New Jersey Devils, the Ottawa Senators.
Ooh.
Kind of like your New York Rangers moment. I had to have these two shite boxes next to each other. Um, I had them next to each other at the start of the week, and they're gonna stay there. They play
Yeah.
four games. They don't win a game. Detroit, Utah, Colorado on the back to back, losing 8-2, and then Florida. All losses. They might look alright in some of it. Results matter at the end of the day.
Yep.
And look, they're 3-6-1 in the last 10. Obviously on a 4-game losing streak, which is this week. Um, yeah, and they've only got the 20 wins. Like it's it's really panic territory. I thought they were going to be better. Same with the Devils and a couple other teams. Like I thought they would be around the top 16 for the majority of the season, but it's kind of falling apart.
Mm.
Kind of at a bad time as well. So it's yeah, just like the Devils, it's panic stations for me for Ottawa.
Yeah, and they can look really good at times as well,
Yeah,
but
both those
when they're
teams
horrible,
can, but when they're horrible,
when
they're
they're
horrible.
horrible, that's the thing. Ottawa, Devils, New York. When they're good, they're fucking good. When they're bad, they're god awful. And that's yeah, it's not a recipe for success when that's your difference. Like, all right, 24 for me. I have the Calgary Flames.
23.
Yeah, I feel like these guys are just sort of like stuck in in this territory at the moment. They're not performing poorly at all. I think they're 5-5 in their last 10. I don't think I've seen them below 5-5 in their last 10 for the last like 30 games or whatever, 25 games. But they just can't seem to get themselves into sort of like a playoff or around that playoff spot. But their week, they start off with a 5-1 loss to Seattle Kraken. They lose 4-1 to the Montreal Canadiens, 4-1 on the back-to-back to the Boston Bruins, and then they have a 2-1 win against the Pittsburgh Penguins today. So, um, very rough week with those three losses, but look, I think they've been playing good hockey. That I believe this was just sort of like a bit of a setback week for them. They obviously bounced back with the win against the Penguins. So for Calgary fans, I'm hopeful that what we've been seeing lately out of them, outside of those three bad losses, that's what the Calgary Flames are, not these three losses. I think that's just a bit of a setback. I think they'll continue to sort of be strong like they have been.
All right. Moving on to my 22, I have LA Kings.
Hey, 23. Look at that.
Yeah, we've been pretty close so
Pretty
far.
tight
So,
knit.
yeah, started off well. Win against Minnesota, go to OT against San Jose and just lose the extra point. But then they get 5-1 by the Jets, and then on the back-to-back they get a shootout win, I believe, against the Oilers. So all in all, like not the worst of weeks. Like I think that it's still like above 500, but it's like
Mhm.
4-5-1 the last 10. They are just slightly going above 500, kind of consistently thanks to OT points.
Mhm.
A lot of the time, and yeah, the play doesn't look great as well. I think they're at times, like majority of the time, I think yeah, I'm not sold on them. I do think
Mm.
they're a good chance because of the division they're in to do good things, but yeah, I'm just not sold on them.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's rough. And I think they're a much better team than what they've shown. They're third to last in regulation wins for the season as well, so there's clearly some issues there.
Mm,
21 for me. I've got the Seattle Kraken.
21. I got them at 20.
Ooh, oh, so high on them, dude.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I had to look for them.
Yeah, look, they win 5-1 against the Calgary Flames, 7-4 against the Boston Bruins on a back-to-back where the Boston Bruins didn't have to play on a back-to-back, so really impressive win there. 2-3 OT loss to the Minnesota Wild, which, it's Minnesota. They're a good bloody team. And then a 2-3 loss to the Carolina Hurricanes. Again, a really good team. The only disappointing thing there is they had 12 shots. 12 shots for the game. That's where I was a little bit worried, but when your two losses on the week are against two really good opponents, two Stanley Cup contending opponents, they're in some good form. They're in a wild card spot. If they can keep this going, I see them moving up further. My big issue still is their scoring, even though they did score seven against Boston. Um, they can just get a little bit, yeah, sort of gold rowdy at times.
Yeah, no, that's fair. My 21, I got Utah.
They're
Utah.
my 20. No, yes, 20. I don't know what I was looking at then, but it didn't look like Utah.
All right, so they start off OT win against Rangers. They 3-1 Ottawa. They beat St. Louis 4-2, and that's their week. Three wins for the week. 6-4 in the last 10. Plus 10 goal differential, which is like by going points percentage, they're the bottom team in regards to the team that goes green. Um, so that's good. They got 22 wins, which is I think a decent amount. Generally, that's where the gooder teams start. And yeah, look, I think they're on a bounce back. I don't know how if it's gonna last too long or not. If this is like the start of something special, but it's promising. I hope they can get in the top 16 where they were at the start of the season. But
Yeah.
yeah, from their form of previous, it's hard to sell me on that.
Yeah, they could flip straight back, but hey, look, in a positive, they're seventh in goal difference.
Mm.
If you want to see a
Which is
wild
crazy. Which is
season,
crazy.
they are seventh in terms of
If
goal
they win,
difference.
they
That's
win. But if they lose, it's close.
yep. All right, 19 for me, dropping a little bit. I've got the Nashville Predators.
Same.
Yeah, look, I didn't like dropping them this far, but just the shutout today against Chicago really annoyed me. They lose 2-6 to the Edmonton Oilers. They just got massively outplayed and outclassed. 2-1 shootout win against New York Islanders. Really good win, close game. Like it's hard to score against the Islanders. We know that. But then 3-0 loss against the Chicago Blackhawks today. That's where they lost me a little bit. And I just had to sort of drop on them because it's a game that they shouldn't be losing, let alone getting shut out in. So I know Chicago are playing better, but with what the Preds have been doing lately and trying to push for, they shouldn't be losing that game.
Yeah. All right, onto a team on a little bit of a heater. Toronto at 18 for me.
They are 17 for me.
And yeah, look, they are on a bit of a heater. But in regards to their week, they 4-1 Florida, win against Philly in OT, and then they 5-0 Vancouver. All in all, like the really surprising good win there is the Florida one. For me, because Vancouver's Vancouver, and Philly is always a tight game, and they just get the extra point. But they are being, more solid as of recent, and the results are showing that they're 7-1-2 in the last 10, 3-game win streak. That was this week, and which is crazy. They got the same wins as teams like New Jersey and Utah, but because of OT points, they are 4 or 5 points further up. And
Yeah.
that's just how the season seems to be. We kind of got to get to OT. You got to be competitive enough to get to OT.
If you're
Um,
gonna lose, you're gonna lose in OT.
yeah.
It's that simple. Yeah. All right, 18 for me. Might be a bit of a shock, but the Vegas Golden Knights
Ooh,
moving up one.
I'm 14. But
Yeah, yeah, terrible decision.
yeah, no, like I
Vegas,
said off air, like I have a top 13, not a top 16.
yeah, 100%. Nah, look, I, Vegas had a very like a good week. I think they've won their last three, and they went 3-1 this week. 2-3 OT loss against the Chicago Blackhawks. 4-3 OT win against the Winnipeg Jets. 5-3 win against Columbus Blue Jackets, and a 4-2 win against St. Louis Blues. So I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the four teams that they did pick up 7 out of 8 points from are all in the bottom of the standings. So and that's why I just couldn't move on them. I don't think they've been that fantastic. Yes, they've done what they need to do. They picked up 7 of 8 points. That's what good teams do. But I need to see them do it against, playoff contending teams. Like you've beaten four teams that are all going to be in the race for McKenna. Um, it's not it's not an impressive week for me. Golden Knights have really been a merchant of OT, as we've spoken about. Um, they've only got 20 wins on the season, which I think it doesn't even have them close to the top 16 in teams in terms of wins for the season. So yeah, I it's a good week. I expect a lot more out of Vegas than what we're currently getting.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I only move up two purely because Ottawa and New Jersey are shite the bed. But on to 17, just outside the top 16, I have San Jose knocking on the
Oh,
door.
they in my top 16. You will
Ooh.
respect them.
Respect a team from the Pacific. I don't know about that, but no, no, shade. No, but so they beat Columbus 5-2 back to back. They division rival here, LA. They go to OT against them and get the extra point, and then they go to OT again later in the week against Dallas and get the extra point. So doing a little bit of OT merchants, but getting the extra point in OT. But honestly, three impressive games. They're always competitive, and look, they're doing taking it to Dallas, which is like a top five team. So it shows how competitive and good they are, that they can beat anyone.
Yep.
And exciting to watch. It's one of the funner teams, and 6-4 in the last 10, one in the last three, which was this week. And yeah, they're just the team that has the most wins that we've talked about so far at 23.
Yep. Yeah, like that's it. That's it, right? They got 23 wins on the season. They're winning games. Yes, sometimes they do need to go to OT. I think they've got 12 regulation wins or something, but they're getting the W's, and this is really good for such a young team up and coming. And Celebrini's been a freak. Like it's ridiculous how insane he's been in just his second year. All right, going on to 15, talking about some other insane players. He might not be as young anymore, but he is still the best player in the NHL. Edmonton or McDavid's,
Ah, the Oilers. Yes, yes, yes.
the
16.
McOilers. Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, I'm still not convinced about this team whatsoever, but look, we all know what the likes of McDavid and Draisaitl can do. Um, they have a very good week, or yeah, they take 5 of 6 points, but they 6-2 win against Nashville Predators, 4-3 win against the Winnipeg Jets, and a 3-4 shootout loss against the Kings. Again, it's a bit of a weaker sort of week against opponents, playing the Jets, the Kings. I didn't think I'd ever really say that. That's weak opponents, but here we are. Um, but look, like similar to Vegas, they did what they needed to do. They got 5 of 6 points against teams that they should be beating. Um, they're second, I think, in the Pacific. They've got their playoff spot sewn up, which we know that's all they need to do. I still have my concerns with them, with their defense, with their goaltending, even though, they've got Jarry in. I don't know if this is a team that McDavid can drag to the playoffs.
Yeah,
Sorry, to the Stanley Cup
yeah. Well,
again.
you can drag any team in the Pacific to the playoffs, but yeah, Cups are a bit different.
Mm.
Uh, in regards to 15, for me, Philadelphia sliding a little
Ooh,
bit.
that's still
Ooh,
11 for me.
ooh. Yeah, went a bit harder. 5-3-2 in the last 10. I just I've seen a little bit of a slide over the last 2 to 3 weeks. They beat Anaheim. We've talked about them on their slide. They lose to Toronto in OT. Then they get 7-2 by Tampa. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just a little bit not as hyped on them at the moment. I feel like the last 2 to 3 weeks has been in a little bit of a slide. And +8 in points from OT has really helped them stay up there because they got 22 wins, same as New Jersey, who's down at 25. It's
Yeah,
kind of funny how it works, but they're always
one of those two.
competitive. They're like Vegas. They're always competitive.
Yeah,
And that's what you need.
yeah, and that's why I think I couldn't move on them because I don't think any of the teams below them, for me, have been good enough, and they're still getting enough points. They're still in a playoff position. They're still playing competitive hockey. They got blown out by a Tampa Bay Lightning team that's unreal at the moment. So yeah, but I do agree with you. They have been sliding. It's just that no one else in the Metro seems to want to take those spots from them. All right, 14 for me though is the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, yeah, 12.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Boston. Like they're good, they are, and then they're not. And it's very difficult to sort of know what you're going to get week in, week out from this team. They lose 4-7 to the Seattle Kraken. As I said before, the Kraken were on a back-to-back. It was really set up for Boston to take that, and they don't get it done. They beat Calgary Flames 4-1, and then 10-2. The New York Rangers. They did double digits against the Rangers, which is obviously impressive, but again, the Rangers haven't been fantastic. So I like the Bruins. I actually really do enjoy watching them play. It's just, like I said, you don't know what you're going to get week in, week out. They seem to be very up and down and very streaky. 3-4 game streak here,
Yeah.
3-4 game lose streak there. So
Well,
yeah, I
they
think
win in regulation or they lose in regulation, and that's the big holdback. Like they got 24 wins. Like
Mhm.
Um, there's not many teams that are 24 or more wins in the league, but they just don't have OT points.
Yeah, I
And
think
that goes to
they're in the top 10 in the league in terms of wins.
yeah. All right, on to 13 for me. I believe, yep, me. It is Pittsburgh Penguins.
Ooh. See, I have gone harder on them. They're in my top 10. And by top 10, I mean they're 10th.
So they beat Columbus in OT. It's Columbus. They beat Devils. It's the Devils at this point. And then they lose to Calgary 2-1. And so all three of those opponents are 23 or lower in my power rankings, 24 or
Mhm.
lower in yours. Yeah, I was not impressed in regards to like the easy schedule. 7-3 in the last 10. They are on a heater. I called it. The schedule plays a bigger part of what happens in a season than I think people give credit for. And yeah,
Especially for an old team.
yeah,
Especially for an old team.
yeah,
Yeah.
it affects that too. Yeah, there's so many variables that go into it that if there was a proper, you know, every 3 days you had a game or something like that, we'd probably see way different results this season. But it's not
Or,
the way it
or
is.
or if they were just consistent with it and, like, oh, you're playing a back to back. Oh, well, guess what? The team you're playing against also has a back to back.
Mm.
You know, things that you'd think make sense. But I get the occasional, but it just seems every game I talk about that's a back to back, one of the two teams is not on a back to back. It's stupid. Um, all right, 13 for me is the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, my 11.
Yeah, look, they moved down one for me. They move up three for you. I just assume that's the Devils in Ottawa. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much everyone around here. Yep.
Yep, yep. Look, they're sort of they had a good better week. 7-4 win against the Ducks, 1-4 loss against the Stars, and a 5-1 win against the Chicago Blackhawks. Issue for me there is the two teams they beat aren't all that flash at the moment. And the one team they lose to is a sort of contending team where they want to be at. Um, and I thought the Stars sort of just manhandled the Caps a little bit, and the Stars have been on a bit of a slide as well lately. So yeah, they fall one spot for me at the moment. I'm not completely sure that the Caps are 100%, but I do still think they'll be a tough team come playoffs.
Yeah. Nah, exactly right. On to starting my top 10, Florida.
Flow Rider. They're 12 for me.
Yeah, the Flow Riders. Look, they got the win in regulation against Colorado, so it's an automatic top 10. And then 4-1 loss to Toronto, 6-2 loss to Montreal. Hard opponents at this point, but bad losses. And
Mhm.
then get the 3-2 win against Ottawa. So all in all, like I feel like it was a slightly balanced week
Mm,
week for them, especially with the Colorado win. 4-5-1 in the last 10, so it's been on the slide. And yeah, look, they're 23 wins. They're not OT merchants, so that's hurting them. Um,
yeah,
and that's how it's probably going to play out.
they've been injured for a lot of the season, I think. But yeah,
Mm.
um, yeah. All right, on to my nine. Who do I have at nine? Yeah, talk about a team that's slipping a little bit. Dallas Stars.
Yeah, my 8.
Yeah, it's I feel like it hasn't just been their last 10 either. I feel like it's been a little bit on from that. They're 3-3-4 in their last 10, which wild enough is still 500. Um, but for a team that's a contending team, I feel like they should be doing a lot better. But 3-4 OT loss against the Montreal Canadiens, a 3-6 loss against Carolina Hurricanes, 4-1 win on a back-to-back against Washington Capitals. Oh, have a look at that. Again, another back-to-back where the other team wasn't on a back-to-back. Lovely. And then a 4-5 OT loss against the San Jose Sharks. So look, when they lose, they're still picking up points, but again, like 1-3 this week, technically. Yes, they're playing some good opponents, but I expect Dallas to be winning at least three of these games. At full strength Dallas. They haven't, so yeah, they slide down for me. I'm not concerned about them because I know they'll bounce back, but yeah, it has been a bit ordinary of late.
Yeah, they slide down for me as well, and they go above the team I'm about to talk to next purely because of the harder schedule and taking some of those games to OT. They're just being unlucky not to get the extra point.
Mhm.
Because honestly, it's just a draw. But the other team I'm talking about on a slide was Minnesota.
Yeah, I knew that
I,
was
I I up and dialed on which one to go above or below.
good.
But I just feel like Dallas was more competitive in the harder games, and then obviously just didn't get the extra points that would have been nice to have. But Minnesota start off losing to the Kings 4-2. Seattle, they get the extra point in OT, and then they go to OT against the Islanders and don't get the extra point. So all in all, 500. Getting the extra point helps look better. And that's how it is, right? You win the special teams game in OT shootout. You were you look better, even though you probably shouldn't. But they're
Yeah.
very really really strong. Like 5-1-5 still. Same with Dallas, 4-2-4 in the last 10. Um, Still looking really strong, but the results like Dallas are starting to slip, even though
Mhm.
it looks alright on ice. So at some point you got to turn them more into results again.
Yep. Yeah, I think ultimately I expect these two teams to bounce right back, but yeah, it's just not clicking for them at the moment. All right, 7 for me. Montreal Canadiens.
Yep.
They have, yeah, look, they've been turning on a bit, back into the top 10 last week for me and just outside of it for you. But yeah, they've been a lot better. Yes, they are very much OT merchants, but look, they're getting the wins, they're getting the results. That's what you need. They get a 4-3 win, OT win against Dallas, tough opponent. A 4-1 win against the Calgary Flames, 6-2 win against the Florida Panthers on a back-to-back. And guess what, guys? Could you pick it? Could you pick it? Oh, that's right. Panthers weren't on a back-to-back. Yes, all right. That's 3 back-to-backs this week, and only half of the teams that were playing in those back-to-backs were actually on the back-to-back. Like, no, it's incredible. And then a 4-0 loss today against Detroit. Detroit has been on a pretty incredible tear. I think if they had beaten Detroit today, there's a good chance they might have even pushed into my top 5. But yeah, that held them back a little bit. Still, extremely impressed with what they're doing. I just hope for the Montreal sake that they can keep this up and they don't go on a bit of a slide like they did um, only 3 or so weeks ago.
Yeah. On to Detroit at number 6,
Ooh.
and they are what 7-2-1 in the last 10.
Mhm.
You got them in their top 5. Ooh, hello.
Yeah, they are 4.
And yeah, look, I didn't go as hard just because of the week. I thought it was a little bit easier in the sense of Ottawa and Vancouver, where they get the
Mm.
wins, and then Montreal, they blank them as we just talked about them just a moment ago. But yeah, 7-2-1 in the last 10, won their last 3, which were all this week. Looking really strong, better, a little bit easier of a week versus all Canadian teams. So maybe it's just Canada's easy. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's really good. It's actually surprising to see both Detroit and Montreal in the top tens at the same time. They seem to be more flaky teams that go on streaks, but so far right now they're putting it together at the same time.
All I can say is surely, Detroit fans, surely you can't stuff it up from here.
I don't have faith. Honestly, I'm expecting outside top 10 sooner than later. But
Oh shit! Like you
they've
gotta
burnt
make.
me too many times in life to like I have faith.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, there's some Detroit fans out there with their eyes twitching, going, "It's gonna happen." And
Yes.
um,
Just follow the Eisenman plan. Just follow the Eisenman
yeah.
plan. Just oh god.
All right, at number 6, we've got the New York Islanders.
Ooh. Um, I have them 5.
Oh, that was very anticlimactic.
I was like, where were they? Yeah, they're there.
I was expecting like number 2 or something, but like, yeah, cool.
I couldn't do that.
Look,
Maybe
I
after the 9-0 win that you're about to talk about, but
no, yeah. uh 9-0 win against the New Jersey Devils to start their week. That's one way to start your week. Then they lose 1-2 in shootout to the Nashville Predators. And then they win 4-3 in overtime against the Minnesota Wild. So, easy week. No tough opponents there outside of Minnesota. I mean, Nashville Devils, they're shocking. But yeah, look, I don't know what you say about the Islanders. Like, I have been absolutely blown away by them. Watching their on ice performance, the fact that they can score goals as well if they need to, as you saw with the 9-0. But if they need to shut a game down, they're so good at doing that as well, which they've been known for so long. But these guys weren't supposed to be good, and they are genuine sort of they're going to be in the playoffs. I can't see them falling out of the playoffs. Like they seem too good system wise, and with the way they play, come playoffs, I think they could. they could do some damage and they could really cause some upsets. It's been wonderful to watch.
Mm. Alrighty, on to four for me. Carolina Hurricanes.
Hmm, they are three for me.
Yeah, they're bouncing on back from a bit of a poor form.
Hmm.
3-1 New Jersey Devils, easy win. First Dallas 6-3, then win, and then they Anaheim Ducks, kind of an easy game, get the win, and then they versus Seattle, get the win. Didn't move as high just because it wasn't easy. Like 3 out of the 4 games were easier than other teams you'd expect outside the top 16.
Hmm.
But won the last 4, which was this week. 6-4 in the last 10. 28 wins, which I think second in the league.
Yeah,
Obviously behind
that is
a
correct.
team that we all know about. So yeah, they're really really good.
Yeah, what more can you say other than they are really, 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 really good? All right, moving on to my five. Another team in this top sort of seven of ours, Jaden, that I wouldn't have expected to be here, and that's the Buffalo Sabres.
I went 3.
Yeah, I
I
saw.
believe in my boys.
And do you know what? I don't blame you because they are playing some unreal hockey at the moment, and yeah, it's good to see, man. Like Buffalo has been so poor for so long, or just missing out of playoffs. I really do hope that they can hold this. But they start off the week with a 5-3 Vancouver Canucks win. Win against Vancouver Canucks. 5-2 win against New York Rangers. A good little division rival win there, and then a 5-3 win against the Anaheim Ducks. So 3-0 on the week. What more can you ask for? Yes, it wasn't that hard of a draw, but they're just doing what good teams do. They're doing what teams need to do. They're winning the games. They got heavily outshot against Vancouver, but they still managed to pull away with the win, which is what the good teams do. When things aren't going your way, you still find a way to win. Same against the Rangers. They got heavily outshot in that game, found a way to win. And yeah, look, I'm loving it, dude. I don't know what else to say about it other than I'm loving it because I hope that
I'm
the
on the
Sabres,
bandwagon. I'm on the
yeah,
bandwagon.
they've been
I'll
so
ride it
poor
all the way.
for so
If they make
long.
playoffs, I might have to go buy a jersey. Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, look, like I said, easier week. They did get outshot by 30, but what impressed me is 5 goals every game. Like
Hmm.
that's really, really good. Like we've always known they've had that talent,
Yeah.
but they've always like not always put it on the ice. But they are being consistent on putting on the ice.
Yep.
But yeah, on to number 2, Tampa Bay Lightning. I do not change.
Oh, really? I did.
Oh,
Nah,
cool,
not really.
cool. Do it, do it, do it. Be different. Knock them off their high horse. Yeah, like, it would have been warranted because
Oh,
they've won their last 9.
yeah.
9-1 in their last 10. This team's on a heater
Hmm.
to, take it to the the Eastern
They're,
team, the
they're
Western
still
team.
they're still 16 points behind. But
But
yes.
and look, they beat the team we haven't talked about. They beat Colorado 4-2. They beat
Hmm.
Philly 7-2. So they're scoring, keeping minimal goals. Everything's going right. They only played the 2 games this week though, so it's hard to move them when you're playing 1 to 2 less games than everybody else.
Yeah.
Because I think they're the only team with 2 games this week, so a little bit of a breather for them. But
Hmm.
honestly, I can't believe they're up here. But it's still it's a good team. It's good hockey. It's good to watch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with it.
They're just they're just strong. They're solid. They grind. They do everything. They've got the talent, but they've also got the strength and the power there.
Yeah,
It's not just a
that's what
it's
they've
not
always
just a
had.
bunch
Yeah.
of yeah, it's not just a bunch of talented players that are skating really quickly. They're talented players, but they also know what they've got to. They know how to hit, they know how to put body pressure on, they know how to grind, they know how to just like they know how to do the gritty stuff. They know how to do the one percenters. And
Mm.
that's what keeps them in this position year in, year out, because they don't just go and go, look, we got all the talent in the world. This will carry us into playoffs. They go, no, we know we've got talent, but we know we also have to work. We know we have to put in the yards. We have to do everything that, you might not notice, but it's just that's what they do, and that's why they win, and that's why they're still here. It's just they're a very strong team, and yeah, I can't believe myself that they're still.
Yeah, it's well coached team. That's one thing that
Yeah,
nobody talks about too. Yeah, well coached, well
yeah,
GM'd, everything.
yeah, exactly. All right, so we might as well get it over and done with. Number one, Colorado
Boo.
Avalanche. Can you change it up? Look, hey, two regulation losses this week, guys. Like, we're
They're
gonna change it up a
mortal.
little
They're
bit.
mortal.
Yeah, we
if it
we we
if it
found
bleeds, we can kill it. No, it's like-
we found out that they can actually be beaten. And I think this would be the first time this year that they've lost back-to-back regulation,
Mm.
which is just insane. But
and
1-2 loss against the
and both
Florida
against the
Panthers.
Atlantic as well.
Yeah, I think that they were enjoying Florida too much. Like it's the only they go to Florida and they get two regulation wins. They must have been out partying. It's the only explanation. But yeah, 1-2 loss against Florida, 2-4 loss against Tampa. 2 days later, they were definitely hungover. Because then they go out and beat Ottawa Senators 8-2 a few days later once they've slept that hangover off, and then 4-0 the Columbus Blue Jackets. So yeah, I don't know what else you say about it. They have a little bit of a hiccup, and then they come out and they score 12 goals to two in 2 games.
Yeah,
Is
easier opponents, but that's a smacking.
Yeah, but like easy opponents, but they've dispatched them. It's not like you can question it when it's an easy opponent and they just get the win. But when it's an easy opponent and they do what you should do against easy opponents, it's like, well, yeah, like what else? You have to play easy opponents at some point. It's what you do when you play them. And they're just so professional about it. They just get the job done when they need to get it done.
Yeah,
Um, Tampa is on their tail, but again, like
I could
Colorado
see a
would.
new number one next week. I could actually
Col-
see a new number one next week. There's a possibility in life.
I still think Colorado would need to probably lose
Oh yeah, yeah.
2 to 3 games at least, and Tampa would have to win them all. But yeah, I mean, this is probably the closest we've been in a while to a new number one, that's for sure.
It could be Buffalo. Don't rule out Buffalo. They are
Ooh.
red hot. That's right. I could see a Buffalo number one. If I saw a Buffalo number one in my power rankings, oh my god, what the universe's like timelines have been altered. The
If
Hadron
if
Collider has been messing around. Everything.
if Jaden's got a Buffalo Sabres jersey on next week, it's because he's got them at number one.
How fast is delivery? All right. We'll leave it there,
Um,
guys. Let us know what you think of the power rankings, mine or Nick's. Let us know of your power rankings. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more hockey content. But till next time, guys, we'll catch you.
Bye, guys.